now I'll talk about this. My bad. Okay. So get new high-paying clients for $0 down. And then we had 7 spots. So for those of you who are ready to make an extra $30K in the next 90 days with little to no risk, and we will guarantee your results in writing. So we had 7 more spots available for our brand new $0 down financial aid program. And it's happening right now before the end of March. It is currently, if you are watching this right now, it is March 29th, 2023 at 1:06 p.m. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to help you finance our entire $1 million social authority system for $0 for the first 30 days with 0 money down. And then you're going to work one-on-one with me and our client success advisor so we can hold you accountable, and you can plug into our one-on-one team support and follow our proven selling system and scripts. Work with our coaches, plug into our mastermind, and we're going to tell you exactly what to do. You're not going to be watching 11 modules. You're not going to be sitting on tons of mastermind calls, hoping to hear the answers to your questions, right? This is a one-on-one program where you're going to get the exact steps that you need based on where you are. So you're going to bring on your first batch of high-paying clients for $0. And then you can pay as little as $241 per month after that. And our goal here is to help you cash flow our program. Hold on. Cash flow our program faster so you can pay those payments. There are some requirements to this, right? You have to live in the United States and you have to have a 650 plus credit score. This is a financing situation. So for those of you who are listening to this, this is financing. It doesn't require any money down to get the financing option, but it is a brand new funding opportunity. We've partnered with a funding lender that can help you get the funding to work with us one-on-one. We know that there were quite a few people who were interested in working with us. We knew that there were quite a few people who wanted the opportunity to work with us. And you know, they didn't want to take the cash out, right? They didn't want to pull the cash out of their bank account. They didn't want to pull cash out of their savings. And we get that. Listen, here's the deal. I could go take the cash right now out of my bank account and I could go pay off my car, right? But I'm not going to. I'm not going to go pay off my car. Why? Because cash is king. I'm going to keep cash in my bank account and I'm going to pay payments on my car. I'm going to borrow the money, right? That's the way I'm going to do that. Borrowing money is not a problem, right? So especially when you're making an investment in yourself and you're going to be making money back, that's even better, right? So you can book an approval call. So we have 7 spots available. You just need to make sure that you have a 650 plus credit score. You have to live in the United States, right? You can book an approval call and I can give you guys the link for that. Wasn't planning to talk about this, by the way, right off the bat. We did have some questions about it right in the beginning, which is why I'm talking about it right now. And so for those of you who were interested, we decided to talk about this now, right in the end of March. The reason that we're talking about this right now at the end of March and we're closing it down at the end of March is because, friends, we are coming into summer. We have our event. I am scheduled for an event. I am scheduled for GrowCon. So a couple events that I want you guys to know about that are coming up. My event is coming up, right? My event in April. So first thing, I want to tell you guys about. You can come to my event. My event is in April, Hilton Head Island. And then right after that, I will also be in Utah in May. at GrowCon. So if you are near Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, you want to come to our event that is April 20th, 21st, 22nd. Or you can come see me in Utah. I will be at GrowCon, and that is Roger Connect's event, Universal Accounting. He's the president of Universal Accounting. And I am working in conjunction with him at that event. So we're super excited about that event coming up. The pre-con tickets are closing down. So if you wanted to come out to Utah, those event tickets are going to be shut down. I just talked to Christy and she said in May. Was there anyone interested in coming to the Utah event? If you can let me know, that would be, let me get you those tickets ASAP so you can get everything. Trying to think. Okay, so that's kind of like things we have going on right now, but that's why we are talking about this right now. We're shutting these opportunities down. You have to book your call this week because we're going to be way too busy to be doing this in April and into May. So we're doing it right now. Your opportunity is now. You have until Friday to make a decision and then we're done, right? And then we're moving on. So we're taking on our last batch of clients. We only have 7 available spots. All right. Let's see. All right. How's everybody doing? That was kind of housekeeping, I guess. Housekeeping. How's everybody doing? Turn on your cameras, guys. I can't see any of you. This is terrible. I only got Ashley on. I got Ashley here. I can't see anyone else. I don't like it. I'm not for it. This doesn't make me happy. There we go. There's some faces. Thank you. This is not what I prefer. I do not like to sit on Zoom by myself. It does not make me happy. It's very boring. It's like, what's the point? I'm going to just hang up.
Make you feel like you're talking to yourself.
Yeah, like what is the point of this? I'm going to hang up. Never mind. See you later. Where is everybody today? I only have 18 people on. Where did everybody go? Why don't you guys all go post in the Facebook group and say, why aren't you on the boundaries call today? You can input taxes while you're here. I don't mind if you co-work, right? Listen to my voice while you input taxes. I'm very soothing. You guys, I don't normally drink pop. I'm not a big pop drinker. You say pop or soda? But ginger ale has been making me feel like I don't have to throw up. So, we've been drinking ginger ale lately. I feel like I need to tell you that. All right, let's get the show on the road. We're going to talk about boundaries today. I'm going to need you to not do whatever you're doing because the first thing that we're going to do as we talk about boundaries is we are going to do a little bit of a meditation. I want you guys to take a couple of breaths. I want you to get comfortable. And I want you to close your eyes. Take some deep breaths in. And yes, you are all going to do this. There's only 18 of you on today, so we are just going to do it. All of us. I want you to imagine yourself in the middle of a field. You're laying down in the middle of a field. What do you hear? Your eyes are closed in the middle of a field. There's sounds, there's feelings. As you sit up in the middle of the field, I want you to look around you. This grassy field. You look off into the distance. And there should be something in the distance. Maybe there's nothing. Do you have anything around you? Do you have any kind of boundary? Do you see a fence? Are you in a pasture? I want you to describe what is around you. I want you to describe what your boundary looks like in the chat for me. Maybe you see mountains. You're done looking around you. You've made out what your boundary looks like. I want you to describe your boundary in the chat. Okay. I'm going to start talking. The last of you put maybe your response in the chat. I find that often when I see people complain about their clients' lack of boundaries, their clients taking advantage of them, their clients being needy, their clients doing X, Y, and Z, I often think, that's typically a reflection of you. What's funny about this is I say this to my mom all the time, and she gets mad at me because when my mom says, everyone just thinks that they can take advantage of me, everyone just thinks that I'm just at their beck and call, and I just say, and she's like, shut up, Alyssa, because she knows exactly what I'm going to say. She knows that I'm going to tell her that people wouldn't treat her like that if she didn't allow people to treat her like that. The way people treat you, the way people take advantage of you, the way people overstep their boundaries is a reflection of what you give them permission to do. Want you to hear that loud and clear. The way people treat you, the way people take advantage of you, the way people overstep their boundaries is only a reflection of what you give them permission to do. The exercise that I've asked you to do, I've asked you to look around you and envision a boundary. and describe a boundary, many of you have told me that you don't have a boundary. Maybe you just have a white picket fence. Maybe you don't see anything. Maybe there's just some trees. What I'm hearing is it's very easy to get access to you. I can walk right into your field and take whatever I need out of your pasture. I can access you with ease. I saw one person wrote, they have a metal gate. That's a lot better, right? Most of us are not used to creating boundaries because we've never been in scenarios, we've never been conditioned to create boundaries because we've worked in environments where we were taught not to have boundaries. We were employees, right? We were conditioned to be yes men. We were conditioned to follow orders. And now it's incredibly important that we start creating boundaries. The first time I did this exercise, I imagined that my boundary was a very crappy barn-like fence, something that was like, could be pushed over almost, climbed over. Now I imagine myself in a valley, surrounded by mountains, peaks so high they touch the clouds, ice caps. You would have to climb mountains to get to me. It's taken me time to work on my boundary. The boundary that you envision around yourself is a reflection of the boundaries that you've created in your real life. There's little to none. Can you make a correlation between the boundary that you imagined in your pasture to the way that people treat you? You wonder why people call you at all hours. Have you ever told them not to? Have you ever said, this is when you're allowed to call me? You wonder why people expect you to respond quickly. Have you ever set the expectation that you won't be responding quickly? You wonder why people expect that you will go above and beyond and do these crazy tasks that are completely out of scope. Have you ever told them, this is completely out of scope and I absolutely will not be doing this? Have you ever set the boundary? What are your guys' thoughts so far? I think not as solid as they need to be. Okay. So we passed, they came back 3 months later, wanting to work completed. I no longer have the desire to discuss how can I approach this? Okay. Great question. Okay, I can address that in a little bit here. So what happens with these clients, right, is we try to set the boundary, right? Or we don't set the boundary and we let something go on for too long, right? We answer the call, we respond to the call, we do what needs to be done. And then what happens? Suddenly, we're in this position where we think it's too late, right? It's too late. Now I'm stuck doing this. Now I can't backtrack. You're wrong. I'm going to give you guys a couple tactics to reset boundaries. Number one, you take ownership, right? You'd say, listen, I need to own this. When we started working together, my bad. When we started working together, I started saying yes to this. I did this, right? And I didn't ask you to schedule your calls with me on these specific hours. That's my fault, right? Take ownership. And then you can redirect, right? Moving forward, in order to make sure that I can support you in the best possible way, I am going to need you to schedule calls with me through this calendar link during my open office hours, right? I can no longer just answer your calls whenever you desire, right? So the problem is with them texting you. Great example, texting, right? Hey, when we first started working together, I was answering your text messages. Things were a bit crazy and chaotic, and I was trying to support you in the best way that I could. As my business has grown, I found that it's not the best way of communication for me and my company. It's my fault that I didn't set an expectation on how to best communicate with me as a business owner. Moving forward, I am going to ask, in order to communicate with me, that you do XYZ. Shoot me an email whenever you need support. Right? Take ownership and then redirect. You can reset boundaries. You can reset expectations. The faster you communicate these things and the more frequently you communicate these things, the better off you will be. This includes team members. This includes clients. This includes friends. This includes your relationships, right? frequently as you need to. Next part of this that I want to give you some tactical, practical advice on. Someone comes to you, you have a client who is consistently asking for more, right? Can you shoot me over reports for this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Hey, I know that you frequently need support with these additional things. In the past, I've worked hard to accommodate them. It seems to me, right? It seems like you are consistently needing additional support. That is not part of your current package. I think it's time that we discussed a different package because it's not part of this deal, right? All you have to do is frame this as it's not part of this deal. It's not part of this package. It's not part of this offer. It seems to me like you are frequently needing additional support. I've worked hard to accommodate you, but more frequently, you're needing additional support. I want to work with you. So I would like to move you into a new offer. Why don't we jump on the phone and talk about the new offer where you get the additional support that you are needing? This is a new deal. This is how you upsell every single person who is needy, every single person who expects more for what they are currently paying, who is in scope creep consistently. You don't have to fire them. You don't have to let them go. You just make them pay more, right? And then you let them know. Figure out how much time on average are they costing you additionally. If you had to hire an assistant to help that person with all of the crazy things that they're asking you to do they need an assistant? Like maybe they actually need a freaking assistant, right? Like, sounds like you really just need an assistant and I'm willing to hire somebody to help us get all of this stuff done. So you don't have to tell them that. You don't have to explain that, right? Maybe they constantly need additional reports. Maybe they constantly are like, hey, can you tell me my bank balance today? Hey, can you tell me this? Hey, can you give me this? Hey, what's this? Right? I used to have a guy who'd be like, do you remember my bank account number? Can you send me my bank account number? Do you know what my bank account balance is? Can you write a check for this? And I was like, bro, you need a new deal, right? This is a new deal. And then I tried to raise his rate. And he's like, I thought that's what I was paying for in this one. And I was like, no, you're not. This was for like basic accounting. You are treating me like an assistant. You need an assistant. That's cool. That's a new deal. And then he wanted to terminate services and I allowed him to do it. I was like, okay. He was a pain in the ass. It was fine. Right? His business was also going bankrupt, so it was really fine. So that person who constantly needs somebody new, right? how much time, or constantly needing something, how much time do they take? Calculate it out, right? Figure out how much you'd have to pay somebody to help them constantly. Decide also, is this somebody that I'm really willing to help? Is this going to make me happy? Reposition the offer. Call it something special. Make sense? Helpful? Yes, you have to be an adult. Deja, Deja has a question here. I gave someone a quote for services in the past. They came back 3 months later wanting the work completed. I no longer have a desire to do the work we discussed. How can I approach this? This contract was good 3 months ago. It is no longer good. Sounds like a sufficient answer to me. Yes. Who is sending out some boundaries today? What boundaries are you sending out? Let's talk about it. Who is sending out some boundaries? Who is setting some new boundaries? Here's the thing, we can be kind about it too, right? It's just like, hey, I'm going to take ownership on this. This is totally my fault. Totally my fault, right? My bad. Like I was trying to be so accommodating and I was so responsive via text message, but I realized over time that it's not the best way to communicate for me. And it is causing me a lot of stress and anxiety to get all these text messages in my inbox. And moving forward, the best way to communicate with me is going to be via email. So could you do me a huge favor? Can you start emailing me at this email so I can talk to you there? And that is just going to alleviate a ton of headache. I like trying to respond to you with 2 thumbs, like make a joke about it. Like trying to respond to you with 2 thumbs is so much harder for me than just trying to respond with all of my fingers. Like make a joke about it. Try to be as nice as possible about it, right? Like I really would rather use all 10 of my fingers to respond to you than just 2 thumbs. Like it doesn't have to be mean, just reset the boundary, right? I should have said this sooner, right? You could say, I should have said something sooner. Yeah, auto pay. If you do not have people paying you on time, I don't know why. This is something I learned. I was a CFO, and so I was huge on collecting payment, especially because I worked in the childcare industry. So it was like, we ain't watching your kids until you pay us. Like, I ain't watching your kids unless the invoice is paid. And we had like 300 something kids because we had, I think like 13 different sites. It's like, if that doesn't go through, work ain't getting done, right? Get that ACH taken care of. Like, hey, moving forward, we're moving all of our clients to ACH. We're so excited about it, right? This is going to make our payment processing so much easier. It's going to be great for you too, because you're never going to have to worry about processing a payment again. Like, get them to drink the Kool-Aid, guys. $12 years. Oh my goodness. Get them to drink the Kool-Aid. How can they drink the Kool-Aid? Right? How is it in their favor? Right? Now we're never going to have to think about it again. It's just going to go through automatically. It's going to be so great for both of us. Worry-free. Yeah. All new boundaries are, I'm pretty sure that like QBO has one. QBO ACH authorization form. Yeah. I feel like when they go through, if you are going through like QBO to collect payment and you do the ACH through there, I feel like it just automatically has a signed authorization form. Am I wrong?
I've never seen a form. There's a box to check that says I have authorization to process this payment or whatever.
Yeah,
I've
that's
never
what I
seen an
mean.
actual form.
I think it's integrated. Like, I think there's an integrated form. Let me just look in my drive really quick and see if I have a signed, if I have an authorization form. Hmm. No. I don't know. Yeah, but
It
Crystal,
used
go
to
ahead.
when you have that I have authorization, the authorization, like if you hover over it, it goes to another link. Now it's not
Yeah.
going, it used to go to that form or something, but I have that form. I don't know if I can, I'm on my phone though, so I don't know if I could attach it in the chat or what. Because I saved that form, but now it doesn't look like it goes there.
Yeah, I used to have one. But I definitely would just put it in your engagement letter. and put it all together, right? Like, it's in your engagement letter. It's like, your payment will be ACH withdrawn on this date, right? And then it's like pre-filled out. And then you would just ask them for the information, or they would have to fill it out through whatever, however you do your engagement letter, or have them pay their first invoice, and then their first invoice would be the same place that you would continue to do the ACH through. But there's so many examples of ACH authorization forms. So, okay. This was a relatively short and easy, simple. The biggest things I want to talk about today was reminding you guys that your boundaries, your client's boundaries are a reflection of you and the boundaries that you've set. So whenever you are, so just to recap here, whenever you are wondering why a client is treating you a certain way, whenever you're wondering why a client is doing a certain thing, right? Whenever you're wondering why somebody is like constantly calling you or texting you, and you're like, man, my time is always being taken up by all of these questions and all of this stuff. It's like, oh yeah, that's my fault, right? It's always your fault. Remember, it's always your fault, which is awesome. Oh, thank you. Amy just sent one over. I wonder if I can. I'll share that in a second. It's awesome that it is your fault, because that means you can fix it, right? That means you can change it, right? Which is great. When it's your fault, that means you have the ability to adjust the boundary. And you adjust the boundary by saying, hey, I forgot to set this expectation. I didn't set this expectation in the beginning, but now I need to, right? So my fault, take ownership, and then readjust, redirect, right? This is how we're going to do things moving forward. It's okay to own something and say, I didn't do it right in the beginning. And people will respect you more for taking responsibility versus blaming, right? Like, you're annoying for always messaging me. Well, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to message you. You've never said it was a problem, right? You've never told me I wasn't allowed to, right? So it's always your fault. Always take responsibility. The way someone treats you is how you allow them to treat you. Remember that. Next, if someone is completely out of scope, if you think the out of scope is fine, if it's in the space of what you want to be doing and serving, then fine. Put them in a new deal. Say, this isn't part of the deal. This wasn't part of the scope. This isn't what I wanted to be doing in the engagement, but I can put you over here in this scope, right? This is a new deal, new engagement letter. You need to be here because this is what you're needing. It seems like you need this because often you are requesting these things, right? So let's put you over here. No big deal. This is a new deal. They decline, that's fine. You let them know that I'm no longer going to be able to do these things for you. I can't keep doing these things for free because you're out of scope, right? In the past, I've tried to be accommodating because I thought it was little one-offs, but it seems like you need them often, right? Let me know when you want to move over to these things, this other new deal, right? Yeah, Ashley, what do you got?
So I have, it's a restaurant business and I posted about it in the mastermind, but it's so aligned with this boundaries conversation.
Mhm.
I recently found out her LLC dissolved because she didn't file paperwork, um, in prior years. Now it's a whole situation. Now she needs the PTE, the pass through entity form. Now,
Yes,
granted, she has a pretty big package already. She was that 30K cleanup,
yeah,
and it seems like this is a random task, and so I'm inclined to do it. But what I worry about is this will become a habit that I'm the go-to for all things that they fucked up before.
yeah,
And oh, sorry for anyone that has kids on, but this is Alyssa's call, so you should know better. I I want to help because that's always like my first, like, sure, I'll help you with whatever you need. But now it's my problem. And I don't
yeah.
know how, if I say, I don't think she needs a new package, it's the one-offs that I struggle with the boundaries. Like, this is a weird situation. And, if it's not all the, I mean, her LLC isn't going to be dissolved all the time.
Right. I would,
I was just going to ask that pricing alone.
in this case, you just closed her for the 30K.
And it's payment plans. So she split up the payments in 6 months. So it's still
Okay.
a large payment she's paying me every month, but it is all bookkeeping and catch up.
And it was for the LLC, but then we just found out the LLC is dissolved. So now we have to,
They're trying to open a restaurant, a second, and in order for them to get their liquor license, they have to be all caught up with all things paperwork. And this was something that popped up. I'm inclined to help, and I can do it, especially with Shanta and
yeah,
and Shanita's help. I'm just so worried that this will be the normal, the go-to.
yeah.
If pricing alone, I don't know if that's like icky or if it's just, I understand you're trying to grow and maybe you didn't know this. I'll help you this time.
I would go with your gut. And I would go with your gut on what you want to do. And whatever it is, I would communicate it, right? So listen, I know that we didn't expect this to come up. You signed a 30K engagement letter with me. And in that, I promised you that I was going to get you these results. I'm not going to ask you for an additional fee to help you get this pass-through entity set up. But I want to get this done because I want to keep moving forward. But I also want to make sure I set a boundary and let you know, like, this is a one-time thing. If we have a bunch of other little things come up like this, like, I don't expect there will be, but if we do have a bunch of other things, like, there may be one-off pricing. Maybe you could set the boundary by letting them know if there's other things that come up, I may have to charge additionally. And normally I would, you could say that. Normally I would. But I'm doing this out of goodwill. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That feels a little more aligned with being helpful.
Right. And you could say that, like, I want to be helpful. I want to keep moving things along. And I know that you guys are trying to move things along. You just signed a huge contract with me. I want to do this out of goodwill. I want to get this done. I want to move forward. I know you guys are doing your best. I'm doing my best. And so, and you know what? Maybe in return, ask them for like some sort of great testimonial, right?
Hmm.
Say like, listen, let's get through some of this. And then I'm going to ask you guys for a great testimonial also, by the way. Right?
I like that because I'm terrible at asking for those too. So
Yeah. Do things out of goodwill and then you ask for testimonials and, so that's what I would do, but I would also let them know that if more things like this come up, they would be out of scope and typically this would be out of scope, but they just signed a huge contract with you. And so you want to keep this under that. You don't want to ask them for more right now.
okay, that's
Right.
helpful.
Alrighty. Awesome stuff, guys. All right. Okie dokie. Well, we're at the top of the hour. This was a fun call. I like talking about this. This was I think the conversation of boundaries, and scope creep, it's such a easy thing to lose control over, but it's also so damn easy to get it back. And I think we overcomplicate it. We think that once it's lost for good, and it absolutely isn't. Go set some boundaries today. You are in control of your time if you decide that, right? Thank you guys, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. I believe I'm gonna head home because my kiddos are sick. So I will talk to you guys later. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys. I actually don't think I'm gonna be on next week. Just a heads up. I think next week I'm on spring break and I think we're gonna cancel next week's call. So I'll be staying home and not doing a call next week, I don't think. So have a good week off. No, bye guys.